Born in the early 19th century, Angelina and Sarah Grimke became two of the most radical speakers of their time. They lived in a life of privilege, their family owned slaves, and they therefore experienced firsthand the horrific treatment of them by the hands of their own family. The sisters saw graphic effects of the horrors of slavery. Screams of pain from the nearby workhouse where slaves were dragged on a treadmill suspended by their arms.
Sarah and later her sister Angelina, as a result, joined a tiny local Quaker community in the South, where their strong beliefs continued to develop. They then left their upper-class household and went on to fight against gender and racial inequality.
They worked effortlessly to end racial discrimination throughout the United States. In the South, they first renounced materialism, which furthered their anti-slavery mindset. Their religious motivation as Quakers drove them as abolitionists. The Quaker religion holds values against materialism, and the Grimke sisters found a strong correlation between materialism and slavery. Therefore, the religion included anti-slavery values indirectly.
In 1835, Angelina's first published piece was a letter of support in reference to William Garrison. It was published in his newspaper, The Liberator, the first abolition newspaper of the time. From that point on, they became a big part of the abolition movement.
In tandem with African American rights, the sisters also then heavily advocated for women's equality throughout the country. Eventually, Sarah and Angelina also became the first women to serve as agents for the American Anti-Slavery Society. The sisters spoke to large audiences of mixed genders and became the leading figures in the Anti-Slavery Convention of American Women. They became the first abolitionists to recognize the importance of women's rights and their power in the abolition movement. Before, women were disregarded in this reform movement, and therefore the Grimke sisters encouraged women involvement.
As Angelina Grimke says, we, the abolition women, are turning the world upside down.
Angelina was known for citing the Bible as a reference to women's active role in the civic and religious affairs. In 1836, Angelina wrote her Appeal to the Christian Women of the South, resulting in white Southerner women to embrace the anti-slavery cause. Angelina writes in her book, "Let every slaveholder apply these queries to his own heart. Am I willing to be a slave? Am I willing to see my wife the slave of another? Am I willing to see my mother a slave, or my father, my sister, or my brother? If not, then in holding others as slaves, I am doing what I would not wish to be done to me or any relative I have."
The two published anti-slavery tracts and stretched the boundaries of women's public role. They did these things along with organized protests, they performed public speeches on their views, and they published pieces of writing as a way of creating individual moral reform.
I know you do not make the laws, but I also know that you are the wives and mothers, the sisters and daughters of those who do. And if you really suppose you can do anything to overthrow slavery, you are greatly mistaken. Angelina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank